I think it's about time we put this house in order.
Yes, once again, it's Halloween, and as usual we have a creepy themed license game to review, Monster House on PS2, based on a 2006 animated movie of the same name. Firstly, what do I think of the movie? Well, I've always had mixed feelings about it, and it's kinda hard to pinpoint exactly why. For anyone who doesn't know, this is essentially a comedy horror movie for kids, and sees preteens DJ, Chowder and Jenny investigate old man Nebbercracker's house when it becomes evident that it's eating people alive. I actually think the movie gets off to a really strong start, and despite the dated motion capture animation, it's still fairly compelling. In fact, whether intentional or not, the Uncanny Valley animation sort of works in the movie's favour, considering its creepy vibes. But the eventual twist that the house is possessed by the spirit of Nebbercracker's wife, the giantess, leaves me feeling a little cold. Not only does it feel cliched, but the pacing feels off to me. It's hard to explain what I mean, but as soon as the kids enter the house, it feels like no time at all before Constance's backstory is explained and the house destroyed. There's actually very little time spent inside the house at all, and what makes this game interesting is that it takes place almost exclusively inside the house.
The question is this game a dream house or a flop house?
I'm DJ. For my whole life, this was the house across the street. Old man Nebbercracker's house.
The game begins partway into the movie, as the kids are swallowed by the house in a police car. A Ford LTD Crown Victoria to be precise.
Sorry, I couldn't resist showing off my superior knowledge. Those who've seen my recent videos will know I know my cars.
The game sees you take control of the three kids, DJ, Jenny, and Chowder.
Chowder!
It's single player only, so the characters are separated throughout the game.
Jenny!
And you basically need to traverse the entirety of the house to try and destroy it. From the outset, the game maintains an appropriately ominous atmosphere. This is, after all, a survival horror game for kids, and in some ways reminds me of Disney's Haunted Mansion game, especially with the sentient wooden furniture bearing a subtle resemblance to the wooden boards in the hallways. But while the Haunted Mansion wound up impressing me with its variety, Monster House gets tired fairly quickly. The enemies here are items of furniture, which regularly sprout legs and ambush you.
Stay back, you chair!
I mean, in the case of the chairs, they've already got legs, but you catch my drift.
Sure, having the furniture come to life and attack you is initially pretty creepy, but when the majority of the game sees the exact same enemies copied and pasted all the way through, it's noticeably lacking in inspiration.
Mommy!
There are only so many times I can be decked by a chair and legitimately horrified.
There are also floorboards that come to life and crawl towards you, like spiders.
Hey, does this count as a giant spider? No. Well...
Yeah, I debated for a while whether to include this, as they're technically floorboards, but they are basically wooden spiders. Jenny even says so.
They're like wooden spiders!
Anyway, what starts out as effectively creepy eventually becomes tedious, and it doesn't help that the fighting is pretty clunky.
You might say that the combat feels a little, wooden.
Chairs and floorboards aren't the only enemies to look out for. There are also lamps, televisions, and that most haunting of all household appliances, radiators.
Okay, so it's not actually that scary, but as you might expect, the fighting gets pretty heated.
Seriously though, some items, like the chairs, are effectively creepy, but radiators and televisions? I don't know. There are times in the game when a television will pass by the doorway behind you. And I get the impression it's meant to be scary, but, like, it's a television.
Hey, the TV's getting away!
Hey, come back! I want to see what happens next!
Your main form of defense is a water pistol that you can fire with the X button, and you have to regularly keep it topped up by reloading it with the triangle button. All three of the kids have slightly different pistols, and they can be upgraded throughout.
Cool! Automatic fire!
DJ's pistol initially fires single shots, but when it's upgraded, you automatically fire 3 shots at once. Later in the game, you find a second upgrade for DJ, which allows you to emit a constant stream of water. Which is so satisfying by comparison, honestly. You still need to reload your pistol, but it feels so much easier just spraying all the furniture with water rather than firing the water in spurts. Jenny, meanwhile, seems to fire her water in short blasts of rapid shots, and this is later upgraded to fire continuously. While Chowder, this dude is useless, I swear to God. He fires water in big blasts, which are admittedly powerful, but it wastes so much water, and you're constantly having to reload. It's incredibly frustrating, especially when you're faced with hordes of enemies. Not helped by the fact that he moves intolerably slowly. There isn't a run option, he just kinda plods around, even when surrounded.
Watch it!
Oh, come on, man, don't you have any sense of urgency? Oh, and don't get me started on climbing up ledges. He takes forever, honestly. Oh my God, will you hurry up? Jesus Christ, man!
Extra firepower! Awesome!
Chowder's upgrade is a shot multiplier, meaning the blasts cover a wider range. Although somehow he doesn't seem to run out of water any quicker.
It just don't add up!
With the L1 button, characters can crouch to avoid objects being flung at them. Or if the L1 button is pressed while pushing the analog stick in a certain direction, it will make them perform a dodge move. That's oh, so clunky.
Get away from me!
It's honestly one of the dodgiest dodge moves I've ever experienced. How ironic.
I think the main issue here is that I often wanted to crouch as soon as I saw an object being flung at me, but I was sometimes moving when I noticed the object, so instead I just wound up flopping all over the place.
Yeah.
I'd have much preferred it if the dodge move was a different button entirely.
Nice try, monster!
I must say that as the game began, I was actually initially impressed and fairly hopeful. In the game's early levels, there are several puzzle-oriented challenges.
If only Jenny had seen that.
Although the puzzles are a little, half-baked, shall we say, and they really don't require much thought. For example, in the library, you need to place a book on a pedestal to open a secret wall.
Yes, that's right. A book. That doesn't sound too difficult considering we're in a library.
But you can't just use any book, you need a very specific book, for some reason. The problem is that the game doesn't explain why the puzzle solution requires this particular book. I think it would have worked better if there had been some kind of additional hint regarding the book in question, such as its subject matter or something. As it is, the game merely states that you found the dusty book, which sounds kinda silly when you're surrounded by dusty books.
You did it, DJ!
Why couldn't we just use, well, you know, one of the hundreds of other books in here? I repeat, we are in a library.
In addition, you sometimes have to find ordinary keys to progress. Oh, not another red key. Damn, what is it with these haunted houses and their red keys? There'd better be a door for this one.
Let's hope this red key isn't a red herring this time. Eh, Casper?
Oh no!
The use of keys to unlock new rooms is a nice idea, but the game is strictly linear. You never really have to look for the right door, as all the others are barricaded by pipes anyway. So, why the developers felt the need to color-code some of the keys is beyond me. Throughout the game, you also occasionally find monkeys. Guess it's time for some monkey business again.
Oh, for God's sake! I think I've got more than enough of these things. I still haven't released the ones I captured last time.
But these aren't actual monkeys, they're cymbal-banging monkeys.
Chowder, it's a toy!
Oh yeah.
To collect them, you just need to face them for a short time. This is a cool idea, as it means you have to properly look for them and have them in your sights, rather than running into them haphazardly. Then again, there were a couple of times when I apparently collected a monkey without even realizing I was looking at one. I mean, I'm not complaining exactly, but I genuinely didn't see anything. Anyway, collecting a monkey unlocks concept art, which is cool if you're interested in that kind of thing, but it kind of feels like a lazy reward to me. There are also collectible arcade tokens you find throughout the house. And collecting these gives you more chances to play the Thou Art Dead arcade minigame in the main menu. In my opinion, this is actually a pretty cool feature, as it's directly adapted from the arcade game seen in the movie. Initially, there are 6 levels. The objective being to defeat the enemies to earn points and rescue the princess from the dragon at the very end. It's pretty basic and janky, but it captures the feel of an arcade game rather well, and looks almost exactly like it does in the movie. So you know what, kudos to the developers here. This was a neat idea. Although I have to say I wish this dude would learn to climb staircases a bit quicker. It really spoils the momentum.
Hello, I'd like to inquire about a Stannis stair lift.
They also like to bombard you with enemies on platforms ahead of you, so it's near impossible to attack them without losing health. It's also kind of funny that you can eliminate an enemy from this position. And down he goes.
Luckily for us, it turns out their Achilles heel is Well, they're heels, apparently.
My enchanted chin!
Eventually, you get to face the dragon.
Yeah, sorry it took so long. This guy was, dragging his heels, so to speak. Oh man, never go to a Weatherspoon's bathroom, buddy. You'll never make it in time.
I have to admit though, I was a little put out that when I did slay the dragon, they announced that the princess is actually in another dungeon, and then the game continues with level 7, which is basically the same as level 1, only with tougher enemies. And it just seems to continue in this fashion. I reached level 8, and then I pretty much lost the will to live.
Oh, thank you, merciful God!
In any case, I beat the high score by a fairly wide margin, and nothing happened. Surprise, surprise.
How, uncharacteristically underwhelming for a movie game.
Anyway, each character has their own secondary attack, requiring ammunition. DJ can take flash photos of the enemies to temporarily daze them,
Okay, nobody move.
while Jenny can find marbles to use in her slingshot.
Well, what do we have here?
Not only can the slingshot be used as a more powerful attack, but it can also be used to remove bolts from locked doors. Chowder, meanwhile, can shoot water balloons. When they burst, they cover a fairly large area and can take out groups of enemies all at once. The only form of close combat attack can be performed with the R1 button. And this feels quite laboured. It takes a long time to eliminate the enemies this way, and although I understand that they're trying to encourage you to use your pistol to prevent the enemies from drawing near, it's not always possible. There were many times I found myself backed into a corner with no way out. I actually find the choice of buttons here a little odd too. Maybe this is just me, and it is admittedly fairly nitpicky, but I thought it would make more logical sense for the L and R shoulder buttons to control the pistol. I'm just more used to close combat attacks being activated by pressing the triangle, X, square and circle buttons. Besides, the L and R buttons feel more like a trigger. Pressing the triangle button to reload the pistol all the time feels a strange choice.
This will make a great souvenir.
Despite the variety in their secondary attacks, the three characters aren't really all that diverse. It also feels like DJ takes priority, while the others are dealt the short straw. DJ's pistol is by far the best one. Conversely, Chowder is by far the most irritating of the trio.
I think I'm gonna hurl.
Please don't.
And it doesn't really help that they try to make him the butt of the joke all the time, just because he's the fat kid.
I think I peed.
Oh, grim, bro. Although I wish you'd have told me, it'd have saved me the trouble of reloading. I'm so sorry, I can't believe I said that joke. Please forgive me.
Speaking of toilet humour, bathrooms act as save points. Your game automatically saves when you reach one, and you can turn on the taps and flush the toilet while you're here. I'm not sure why, but you can.
Hope you're taking notes, Chowder. This is how a toilet works. Perhaps you'd like to learn how to use it.
Now how do we get out?
Kill the beast.
How?
To kill ye, beast, thou have to strike at his heart.
Eventually, DJ is granted a walkie-talkie, allowing you to contact Skull for some, helpful hints.
And I use the term helpful very loosely.
Don't judge a book by its cover, unless it's a cookbook.
Pressing the up directional button lets you hear a hint.
I came, I saw, I split my enemies in twain.
Say what now?
Skull doth talketh a great deal of numbskullery. I shall henceforth call him Numbskull.
There was only one hint he gave me that genuinely helped me. When the pipes kept blocking my path, I couldn't see a way out, and Numbskull's hint implied that I had to walk up to the pipes, then back away so they retreated.
Is it better to go near or far? Maybe you need to go near then far.
Otherwise though, he seems to talk a lot of absolute bollocks.
Trial by fire, travel by night. Night, undead, the undead lives on. Rock on!
What the hell does that mean? This guy's almost as useless as Carl the Robot.
Oh, I can't watch.
I'm not sure these games understand the purpose of a help feature. In fact, with this dude's creepy face and all his obscure deranged quotes, this guy actually somehow makes me feel more uncomfortable.
Okay, see you then. Thanks for your help, I guess?
And for some reason, DJ is the only one of the trio who can contact Numbskull for help. I mean, I guess he's the only one with a walkie-talkie, but it kind of feels a little unfair that he has this advantage over the others.
You can't open a padlock with a water pistol. Believe me, I've tried.
Yeah, apparently nobody gives a toss about the girl and the fat kid. Clearly they're expendable.
Nobody cares!
During these early stages of the game, I also encountered a really distracting audio glitch that could only be resolved by resetting the game.
Little more to the left.
As you can hear, it's a fairly loud beeping noise that wouldn't stop, not even if I paused the game or quit. This actually happened to me twice during my playthrough, and it just added to my ever-increasing frustration with the game.
That's what I call a beeping nuisance.
One thing I do appreciate about the game is its faithfulness to the source material. Like, the use of the moonlight through the windows to emanate searchlights is a clear nod to the movie. If you get caught in the light, the furniture will attack you.
Oh no!
It's a pretty clever idea, although I will say the slow movement of the characters makes avoiding the searchlights harder than it needs to be. There's one part in particular in Chapter 3 in which you need to use DJ to move a heavy crate to access a vent high up on the wall, all while trying to stay out of the light.
Ugh, not again!
But DJ moves so slowly and there's so little room, it's tough to get out of the way fast enough. Honestly, it's really not worth wasting your time being so cautious. Eventually, I got caught by the lights so often that the furniture gave up coming after me. No, really.
Oh no!
See? Nothing happens. There is literally nothing at stake here, and it's so unnecessarily slow.
Oh, for pity's sake, can't the crate just walk over to the bloody vent? It would save us all some time.
Don't get me wrong, the lack of any consequence when entering the light meant that I was finally free to move without fear of getting caught. But at the same time, with nothing at stake, it feels pointless. I'd like to say that the mundanity alleviates with the boss fights, but they're also fairly basic. For instance, Jenny has to face the Constance mannequin.
You missed!
Which sounds daunting, but it literally just requires you to extinguish the chandelier candles one by one with your water pistol.
In fact, when basically everything can be resolved by squirting water, it kind of, dampens the experience, shall we say.
Even the so-called puzzles don't amount to much more than squirting water on things. For example, a short while later in the attic, Jenny encounters a bike next to a train set. The idea is to make the bike wheel spin to activate the train, which eventually highlights how to access the next room. Once again, the setup is cool. I like the use of the bike and the train set. It's quirky and it adds an element of mystery. But when all you have to do is squirt water to solve the puzzle, it kind of makes this innovation seem redundant. Anyway, Jenny needs to find a gear to get the dumbwaiter working to send her down to the lower levels of the house. And it's at this point we rejoin Chowder, unfortunately.
Oh, my head feels like I just took a math class.
Yes, as expected, this section is a chore. One thing I strongly dislike about this game is the sporadic checkpoint system. The difficulty of the game for the most part is fortunately fairly easy, but it's interspersed with very out of the blue and unexpected difficulty spikes, which makes it feel very unfair. Should you fail, you're often sent way back to the last checkpoint, and sometimes the beginning of the level. In addition, there are occasional jump scares that see trees pop out of hiding and try to grab you.
The tree! It's alive!
The idea is to simply press the corresponding on-screen button to avoid it, but although this sounds simple enough, it's easy to screw up when it takes you by surprise. If you miss the button prompt or accidentally press another button, you have to start over from the last checkpoint, which is extremely irritating. I also find it kinda strange that when I was controlling DJ, I got caught. But I was given another chance to wriggle free by frantically tapping the correct button. And yet when I got caught with Chowder, he just immediately died. I don't think I did anything differently, he just kinda gave up.
Oh my god, Chowder is dead! Nobody fucking cares!
By this point, the enemies have become far too repetitious and seem to take a while to dispose of. Oh, not the TV again.
I told you I don't want to watch Love Island! Piss off!
The level culminates in a fight against a big pipe, which keeps trying to suck you up.
Take it from me, Constance, you do not want a fat kid in your pipes. They're a danger to your plumbing. Once it's stuck in there, you'll never get rid of the bastard. And believe me, I'm talking from experience.
This fight really shouldn't be as difficult as it is. Chowder is simply too damn slow. Considering the difficulty of it, I'm surprised there's not a checkpoint just before the battle. Constantly sending the player back to the start of the level becomes very tiresome, and after navigating a maze of toys in the basement, we encounter... yes, the pipe again.
Again?
Again.
Fortunately, this isn't nearly as taxing, and is over fairly quickly. These next parts see you having to navigate the circus, completing the duck shoot game to earn parts of the clown's face to open the way. Once the three friends are reunited, they stumble upon Constance's remains. And then the kids are inexplicably filled in on Constance's backstory through some kind of silent PowerPoint presentation.
It was so long ago that I'll have to describe it in sepia tone.
At first I thought these were meant to be old photos or something, but the fact that they included some photos of Constance's actual death seems a little inappropriate for a family album.
Neat.
Oh, precious memories.
There's only one way we're going to get out of here. We have to destroy the heart.
The trio then attempt to destroy the house by putting out the fire in the furnace, to no avail.
It's not working!
Jenny!
With the kids separated again, they then try to make their escape from the house. I don't have much to say about this part of the game. It's basically the same as the rest of the game, only worse because the number of enemies has majorly increased.
The chair! It's alive!
Why so surprised? They've been alive the whole game. Hey, what do you call a chair with violent tendencies? A harm chair.
Eventually, Jenny finds a way to make the house gag by jumping on a uvula, finally freeing them.
Oh, finally! We're safe as houses. Well, not this house, obviously. This one's not very safe.
Guys?
This then leads to the chase. Well, sweet Jesus, you'd better move a bit quicker than you have been.
Don't make me run! I'm full of chocolate!
This level is the laziest in the game. It simply requires you to press the correct buttons as they appear on screen.
Come on! Keep up!
Genuinely, that is it. And then we have the final boss.
Hey, house! I'm gonna renovate you!
Sadly, this is also underwhelming, the objective being to use the excavator to smash the house. Occasionally, the house will grab the excavator and you need to wriggle free with the analog stick. But it's otherwise really quite tedious.
Booyah!
There's also a really odd ending to this level, as they make it seem as though the house will have an extra life or something.
The house! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
But literally all you have to do is press a couple of buttons when prompted, in order for DJ to drop the dynamite into the chimney. Seriously, what was the point? This may as well have been a cutscene. Still, in any case, it's all over.
Constance was at rest and the monster house was no more.
Thank God for that.
That's what I call cleaning house. See what I did there?
Not good.
When I started playing this game, I really hoped it would maintain a decent quality. The atmosphere is great, and like the movie, it gets off to an incredibly strong start. But the combat is clumsy, and it quickly becomes far too repetitive.
In fact, you know what? Chowder puts it better than I can.
The haunting is subtle, yet really boring. Can I go home now?
There are some solid ideas here, but it's seriously lacking in variety. Most of the levels seem to blend into one. While some early puzzles show some promise, the game doesn't really encourage you to search for solutions. You just naturally happen upon these solutions without even having to look. And if you are stuck, squirting some water is often the answer. The game is extremely linear. The doors will become barricaded by pipes as soon as you progress, so there's no danger of getting lost. The monkeys are admittedly fairly well hidden, but when a reward is just concept art, it doesn't feel worth it. I wanted to like this game, but I wound up relieved when it was over. Considering this is a very short game, that's not really a good sign.
Can't touch this!
Overall, there are worse games you could play, so I wouldn't say it's especially nightmarish, but it doesn't exactly, bring down the house either.
Rock on!
Happy Halloween, everyone!
Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed this video, and a massive thank you for your patience. That 5k special was a fairly hefty video, and it was actually good to have a break for a few days. I was actually on a weekend away for a friend's birthday, in fancy dress as Fred from Scooby-Doo. I kinda wish I'd have covered another Scooby-Doo game, as this would have been the perfect attire for it. But hey, I might hold on to that neckerchief for next year. What do you think? Anyway, a huge thank you to my patrons under the A Nose for Secrets tier. Apologies in advance if I mispronounce any names. Bradley ID, Anthony Gallagher, Chowder, Eagle Weege, 3Spooky5Me, Volico72, and Matthew Shaw. A new compilation of deleted scenes will be coming your way very shortly. In addition, I'm aware there are those of you who are currently signed up as free members: Michael Shields, Dennis, GamerKid96, and Mood Faik. I fully appreciate your support as well, and an extra thank you to 3Spooky5Me for joining as a member. Now you have your very own I Don't Have a Nose badge beside your name in the comments. Snazzy stuff. In other news, I'm already working on a next review, and I've got another video in mind for The Simpsons Hit and Run. Yeah, again. Obviously though, since the channel has been pretty hit and run heavy this year, I might save that for a later date. In any case, I don't intend to be gone for long. If you're interested in becoming a member, check the link in the description. Otherwise, I will see you soon, guys. Bye-bye for now.